Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Dolapo. I film about faith, beauty and lifestyle, and most especially I film about scholarships and scholarship opportunities and how you can receive fully funded scholarships. So if you haven't checked my previous videos, I have talked about fully funded undergraduate scholarships and fully funded postgraduate scholarships that you can apply to in 2024-2025. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to actually apply for these scholarships. So I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step process on how to apply for fully funded scholarships. And I've been getting this request a lot because a lot of people know that there are fully funded scholarships out there, but they don't know how to actually apply for this scholarship. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing some helpful tips and from my own personal experience, the mistakes that I made and I learned before receiving my own fully funded scholarship and things that can help you as well. So I'm going to be sharing all of that in today's video. So if that is something that you are interested in, then definitely keep watching. So let's get right into it. I don't want to take too much of your time and I just want to go straight into it. So the first step or the first advice I'm going to give is to know where to actually search for these fully funded scholarships. So if you are new here or you are new to my channel, then definitely have a look at my other videos where I've talked about fully funded scholarships that are available out there. So whether you want to apply for an undergraduate course or postgraduate course, there are scholarships that are available for you to apply to if you don't have the money to fund your studies and you want to study in the UK. So most of these videos are for scholarships in the UK. I'm sure there are other videos on other YouTube channels that talk about, scholarships in all other countries. But this video is going to be talking about how to apply for fully funded scholarships in the UK and the step-by-step process. So one of the sources that you can actually find fully funded scholarships from is of course on my YouTube channel. There are also other YouTube channels and YouTube videos as well that you can, do your search and find these scholarship opportunities. Even just doing a normal Google search as well, you can find lots of opportunities by just doing a normal Google search for the kind of scholarship you're looking for. If you're looking for a fully funded scholarship, if you're looking for a partly funded scholarship, if you're looking for a specific kind of maybe government scholarship, just do your Google search and you have to be ready to put in that hard work. I do get a lot of requests from people and they're always asking me, I can't find fully funded scholarships, and I'm like, they are out there. You just have to be ready to put in the work to do your research. You have to be ready to put in the work to watch videos like this. So if you're watching this video already, well done to you, because you're already taking that step to find out how you can even apply for fully funded scholarships. But that's the first thing I would say. Know what you're searching for, know where to find these scholarships from, and I already mentioned the places and the sources that you can find them from. Number 2 is to prepare in advance. So today I'm going to be showing you how to actually step by step apply for a fully funded scholarship. And it's important that, while you are watching this video as well, it's important for you to do your own finding and do your own research so that you can prepare in advance. Now, there are scholarships that are open already in this year 2024 that you can apply to. There are some that are open or the deadlines are in May, some are even in April this month. So that's why it's important for you to have prepared in advance. So if you're looking to study abroad or study in the UK next year, then definitely you need to start preparing all that you need to prepare for this year. For example, there are people that want to apply for scholarships abroad and they don't even have an international passport yet. How is that even possible? When the university is asking for you to provide your international passport details, what are you going to provide? So you see why it's important for you to prepare in advance, because that way you are ready. So when the deadline, or if the deadline is close by, you already have your documents that you need. So it's important for you to prepare in advance. So I'm going to be talking about those things in this video as well. Next step is to keep working hard and stay motivated. Trust me, there are times that you might probably have some rejections and all of that. I remember when I was applying for fully funded scholarships, I had or received almost 20 rejections. But thank God I was able to pick myself back up and keep myself motivated to apply again. And that was when I received my fully funded scholarship. So don't be disheartened if you have received rejections. It's important that you just learn from the mistake. So look at your applications again. What did I do that was wrong, and how can I make it better for my next application? The next thing I would say is to make yourself stand out from other applicants. And I'm going to be talking about that in more detail in this video as well, when we start the full process of applying step by step. You have to make sure that your application stands out, because there are so many people. These scholarships, they are very, very competitive, and there are so many people that are applying as well. So that's why you have to make sure that your application stands out, and you have to make sure that you read the entry requirements, see what they are actually looking for, see if you match those entry requirements, and go ahead and apply and make your application stand out. Next step is to submit an exceptional scholarship essay. So this is where you can make your application stand out, by submitting an exceptional scholarship essay. And how can you do that? You'll be able to do this by the skills and the experiences that you've gained already. So when I first applied for fully funded scholarships in 2020, 2021, I didn't really have that much experience. I was just coming out from my undergraduate study medicine, and I hadn't worked then. I didn't really have that much experience to show in my scholarship essay. And that's probably one of the reasons why I wasn't given or awarded any scholarships at that time, because my scholarship essays were probably not outstanding enough, or they probably didn't show as much experience or skills that they were looking for. So the second time I had applied, I already started working in Nigeria. I was already volunteering as well. So I was able to put in all of that experience into my scholarship essay. So that's why it's important for you to know what they are looking for, and you can decide to work on what you can do. For example, which organizations can you volunteer in? If, for example, you want to apply for maybe a public health master's degree and it's a public health scholarship, you want to see, okay, for example, public health, that means that they probably want me to have some kind of volunteering experience or leadership experience. Do you understand? So you want to make sure that you're also putting yourself in that line as well. So that's why you have to prepare in advance. A scholarship is not something that you just apply to immediately. It's something that you'd have thought of well enough, and you're already working in that line, so that you have as much experience. You don't have to have all the experience in the world to be able to apply for scholarship, but you have to at least have, even if it's just one working experience, depending on what the entry requirements are. So that's why it's important, like I said, to read the entry requirements. Some requirements say you must have, for example, let's say if you want to study like an international development course, for example, or it's a scholarship that is awarded for students studying an international development course. Of course, they want you to have some kind of experience in international development. It doesn't have to be years of experience, even if it's just volunteering for a few months, and you can show the impact of your volunteering, what skills and knowledge that you gained from that volunteering experience as well. If you are able to put that in a compelling way in your scholarship essay, then you can make your scholarship essay stand out. Guys, just let me know if you want me to talk about how to write a very good personal statement or scholarship essay in full details. Although I already have a video where I've talked about this, and I'm going to link that in my description, so have a look at that video. I talked about how to actually make your personal statement stand out, and if you want me to do a more detailed video, then do let me know in the comment section and I can do that. And then finally, be realistic and be yourself. So when you're applying for scholarships, it's important for you to be realistic that these scholarships, they are very, very competitive. So it's important for you to also understand that there are some that you may get and there are some that you may not get. That is why I always advise not to apply for just one scholarship. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. When I was applying for fully funded scholarships, I applied to almost about maybe 8 or 10 scholarships, and some of them were not fully funded, because fully funded scholarships may be quite rare to find in the UK. So maybe I applied for maybe about 4 or 5 fully funded scholarships, and the rest were maybe just tuition fee scholarships, where you only get a waiver from your tuition fee, but your allowance is not catered for, things like that. But there were also scholarships as well. So I kind of, I didn't just put my eggs in one basket. So I applied to as many scholarships as I was eligible for. So that way I put, I put my tentacles, or how do they say it, in different places, just for me to be able to, or just to increase my chances of getting awarded a fully funded scholarship. So that's what I will also advise you to do. and also be yourself. You don't have to lie about things that you have not done, because it's possible that there are scholarships that they will interview you and they may ask about these experiences in your interview, and if you're not able to convince them that you actually had this experience, it can really affect your application. That's why it's important. You don't have to lie. If you didn't have any experience, you don't have to lie about it. Whatever experience that you have, just put it down there. It may be something that they are also looking for. Don't just talk about maybe your work experiences. Talk about other things that you do outside of work. Talk about other, activities that you do as well. These are things that they're also looking for. They don't expect you to be a robot that you just work. They want to also see other parts of you as well, depending on the entry requirements and depending on the scholarships you're applying for. There's some scholarships that they probably want you to be very professional about it, and they want you to talk about only your work experience, while there are some scholarships that they'll probably just want you to also talk about your life outside of your work and all of that. They want to see the real you as well. So that's why it's important to read the entry requirements, and that way you can know what to expect. So now let's go into the application process itself. So I hope that breakdown of some of the pointers or the things that you can do has really helped you. Now we're going to be applying for a scholarship, and I'm just going to be showing you how to actually apply for fully funded scholarships and the step-by-step process. Scholarship that I'm going to showing you how to apply to today is the University of Sheffield Africa Scholarship. So for those of you that don't know, I studied a master's in public health and international development in the University of Sheffield, but this was not the scholarship I actually received. I applied for this scholarship, but I didn't receive this one. I received another one from the University of Sheffield, and I've shared that already in my video. So have a look at my previous video on fully funded master's scholarship. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be sharing the University of Sheffield Africa Scholarship. Now, if you didn't know, this scholarship is going to be expiring, or the deadline is going to be in May. So that's why I'm using this as an example, because you still have maybe roughly a month to still, apply. So that's why it's important for you to pay attention to this video, and hopefully this will help you in your application process. So let's start. The University of Sheffield Africa Scholarship 2024. It says here that it's a partnership with the University of Sheffield Africa Scholarship Trust. The Department of Geography is pleased to offer one scholarship for a postgraduate taught student from Africa in 2024. Now, there are things, or the information given here is very important for you to know. Why? Because it says here that it's in conjunction with the Department of Geography. So that already tells you that whatever course that you are applying for in the University of Sheffield, it has to be under the Department of Geography to be eligible for this scholarship. And it also says that they are pleased to offer one. That means it's only one scholarship that they are offering. So that already gives you an idea that this scholarship is going to be quite competitive. Okay, but that's why you have to make your scholarship application outstanding, and you have to make sure that you give an exceptional or outstanding scholarship essay as well. So scholarship award, it says here that the scholarship offers the following support: a full tuition fee waiver. So what that means is that your tuition fee is going to be fully paid for. £8,000 maintenance support. So this maintenance support will go into probably like your feeding and your day-to-day life and activities, and it doesn't cover accommodation, because they are also giving accommodation as well in a single occupant and suite room in the university halls of residence. The reason why I really find this scholarship very generous is because they are giving £8,000 for maintenance support. That's basically going to mean that £8,000 for anything you want to use it for, basically, because your accommodation is already catered for. In my own case, my scholarship was only a full tuition fee waiver and maintenance support. So the maintenance support I received, I used that to cover for my accommodation, and rent is not that cheap, guys. So if you're already getting a scholarship that covers your accommodation, then trust me, that is a very good deal. So now let's have a look at the eligibility criteria. Okay, and I always emphasize on reading this eligibility criteria through and through, because you have to know what they are looking for, and you have to be sure that you match or fit the eligibility criteria. And if you don't, that is totally fine. There are other scholarships that you will probably be eligible for, and there are other scholarships that you can probably apply for. So I always say that I always advise that do not waste time applying for a scholarship that you're probably not eligible for. Okay, so the eligibility criteria here says that you must hold an offer to study in one of the following courses and register on the course in September 2024 at the University of Sheffield. So just to kind of introduce what I'm talking about today, before you start applying for a scholarship, the first thing, like you see that the first thing I did was to actually go to the scholarship website. That's very, very important. Go to the scholarship website and have a look through. If you have to read it thoroughly over and over again to understand what the scholarship is about, what the scholarship is for, and what the eligibility criteria is. Once you now have an understanding of this, then you can now start your application process. So that is why I'm reading this through again, just to help you to know that it's important to understand what it is before going into the application. So back to the eligibility criteria. Now, these are the courses that have been listed here that you have to apply for, and you have to have an offer to study. That means that the university should have given you an offer. And I've talked about, offers before in my previous video, that they are conditional and unconditional offers. Conditional offers means that you are given an offer but on a condition that you still have to meet. So for example, it could be that maybe they weren't satisfied enough with your results. Maybe they want you to submit your transcript, or maybe they want you to probably submit your English language requirement. Maybe that wasn't in your application. So there are different reasons why you could have a conditional offer. Some of them, maybe they want you to provide references, so the university will let you know what the condition is. Then there's also the unconditional offer, which means that there are no conditions attached. You have been given the offer with no conditions. So it says here that you must have or you must hold an offer. So it didn't say whether it's conditional or unconditional, but you must just have an offer. That means that you must have applied for this course and you have been given an offer by the university. Okay, and these are the courses. The first one is an MA in International Development. The second course is an MSc in Environmental Change and International Development. And the third one is an MPH, or a Masters in Public Health and International Development. So when I was applying for this scholarship, I applied to the Masters in Public Health and International Development because I read through the course, and I'm going to be talking about that soon, about reading through the course and knowing if it's something you're interested in, okay? If it's something that you are looking for, because you have to read through the course, and I'm going to be talking about that soon. So basically, in the first eligibility criteria, if you are not applying to any of these courses and if you have not received an offer to study for any of these courses, then most likely you won't be eligible for the scholarship. That's what it means. So that's important to have a look at first of all. And the second eligibility criteria says that you must be classified as overseas for tuition fee purposes. Okay. Now this is important to know as well, because if you're an international student, basically coming to the UK to want to study, then you are already classified as overseas for tuition fee purposes. That means that you are not a home student in the UK, that you're not a UK citizen, or you have not been classified as a home student for tuition fee purposes. So if you're coming from an international country, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably maybe talk about the countries that are eligible, you are already classified as an overseas for tuition fee purposes. So don't let that confuse you. The next one says that you must be self-funded to receive this award, that is not funded by a research council, government, private enterprise, charity, or any similar organization. Self-funded means that you are supposed to, like if you were applying, you are going to apply as someone who hasn't received a scholarship previously. That means that you'd have been required to pay for your school fees, but of course you don't have the money to pay for your school fees, so you are now applying for a scholarship to be able to study. So that's what it basically means. So you must be self-funded to receive this award. Because a lot of people do ask me that question, that when they're applying, do they select that they are self-funded? Yes. So it all depends on what the application says. There's some applications that will give you the option of either self-funded or self-funded applying for a scholarship, or self-funded receive the scholarship, things like that. So you have to go through what the options are. If there are no other options like self-funded applying for scholarship, so if the options are maybe self-funded or home students, of course you're not a home student. That if you're an international student, you're not a home student, so you're going to be selecting self-funded. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that. It also says that you must not already hold a qualification to or higher than a master's. Why is this important? If you've already studied a master's before, then most likely you will not be eligible for this scholarship. If you already studied maybe a PhD before, or any qualification that is higher than a master's, you would not be eligible for the scholarship. The next one says that you must not have already studied outside of your home country. So if at any point you already studied outside of your home country, and I shared it in my last video how I missed this because I studied in Russia, so I was definitely not eligible for this scholarship, but I applied, and that was because I probably didn't have a thorough look at the eligibility criteria. So I'm not surprised that I didn't, or I wasn't awarded this particular scholarship, because I'm not eligible in this sense, because I already studied outside of my home country, which is Nigeria. That's why I said reading the eligibility criteria thoroughly is very important, guys. It saves you a lot of stress. The next one says that the scholarship cannot be awarded in conjunction with any other funding awards, either from the University of Sheffield or external sources. So they are basically saying that they're giving you this scholarship, do not expect to receive any other, scholarship in conjunction with it. Next one says that the mode of attendance must be full-time. So that means that when you are applying for the course, and I'm going to be going into that shortly, when you're applying for the course, you must apply for a full-time course, not a part-time course. And then it says receipt of the scholarship is subject to successfully meeting any conditions attached to your offer before the deadline provided by the admission service. So remember when I talked about conditions and conditional offers, that means that if you have been given an offer and it was a conditional offer, then you have to have met all of the conditions before you can be given the scholarship. Okay, so it didn't say that they won't offer you the scholarship. It just said that before you can actually receive the scholarship, that if you've been offered, before you can receive the scholarship, you have to have met or successfully met all the conditions attached to your offer when you applied for the course. The next one is you must have an unconditional offer to study at the university before the 2nd of September 2024. So basically kind of the same thing, but now they are giving a deadline. So if you had a conditional offer, you have to have met those conditions before 2nd of September 2024 to be able to receive the scholarship. And also it says that receipt of the scholarship is subject to successfully receiving a visa to study at the University of Sheffield in September 2024. That is self-explanatory. And the next one says that you must be a national or permanently domiciled in an African country. But that's one of it. So if you're not from an African country, then it means that you won't be eligible for this scholarship. And it says that the scholarship cannot be deferred, and students taking a leave of absence will not be eligible to receive the award when they return to their studies. Okay, so it means that you cannot defer the scholarship. So maybe due to some circumstances, you might not be able to, travel abroad to study. They're saying that they can't defer that scholarship. Okay. Now, how to apply? Okay. Now, this is the meat of today's video. How to apply. Now, there's a link that has been given here, which we're going to click soon. And here they also show the deadline. The deadline to apply is 1 p.m. UK time on Tuesday, 28th of May, 2024. Okay, applicants will be notified of the outcome of the application before the end of June 2024. Okay, selection process. It's important to also read this, guys. Very, very important. Why? Because when you are going to be writing your scholarship essay to apply for this scholarship, you're going to come back again to this selection process and make sure that you tick all the boxes. And make sure, guys, make sure that you tick all the boxes and make sure that you have shown them, or you have proven to them through your application and through your scholarship essay that you fit all of this. Okay, now what is the selection process? It says that this is a competitive process. Of course, we already have that understanding, and not all applications will be successful, unfortunately, but a panel of senior members of staff will select the strongest application. So that's why, like I mentioned earlier, you have to make sure that your application is outstanding and is strong enough. Okay, but that's not to put pressure on you. I'm going to be sharing some helpful tips in this video, how to make your application strong. Okay, so don't worry about that. The panel will be looking to see in particular if you have an excellent academic record. Now, this is quite tricky because there are people that probably don't have a first class honors or a distinction in their undergraduate and are interested in applying for this scholarship. Now, I wouldn't say because you don't have a first class honors, do not apply for this scholarship, because it doesn't specifically say you must have a first class honors. It just says that you must have an excellent academic record. So that means that even a 2-1 might suffice as well. You just have to make sure that your academic record is really good, if that makes sense, because some scholarships will specifically tell you and say you must have a first class honors or a 2-1, but because this doesn't say exactly what you should have, but it just says you must have an excellent academic record. So in my mind, I'm thinking they're probably saying a first class honors or a 2-1. Okay, so if you have any of that, you might probably have a high chance of applying or receiving the scholarship. The next one says that you must have provided, or the panel will be looking. So this is what they're, so basically the panel, when they are going through applications, this is what they're going to be looking for. So can you see why it's important for you to read this? And I think that they are really fair in, saying all of this, because they've kind of given you a blank check. They have told you what they are looking for. So it's now, the ball is now in your court to actually now make sure that you've tailored your application to show that you actually meet this. That makes sense. So you have to have provided a clear rationale for applying for a postgraduate course at the University of Sheffield. And as I shared in my previous video, when you are writing your scholarship essays or your personal statement, for example, when you're applying for a course, you have to show them that this is the reason why I'm applying for a postgraduate course. Okay, so that's why your passion has to show in your scholarship essay, and they can tell when you are just bluffing. They can tell when you are just, maybe you just want to travel, you're not really interested in that course, you're not really interested in making a change. They can tell from reading your scholarship essay, or they can tell from just your application. Or that's why you have to provide a clear rationale. Let them know, why am I passionate about applying for this course? What do I want to gain out of this course? This is how you can make your application strong. You have to show them that this is what I want to gain. For example, when I was applying for my own scholarship, I let them know that I was working in the healthcare system in Nigeria, and I saw the gaps in the healthcare system, and that, felt the passion for me to make a change in the healthcare system. Of course, I expanded and shared more details about that, the challenges I saw, the gaps I saw, what I think, or how I think this course I want to study is going to help me to have the knowledge and the skills I need to make a change. Do you get? So that way they can already say, okay, this person actually wants to make a change. This person is actually passionate about it. And this doesn't just apply to maybe international development courses alone, or maybe public health courses alone. It applies to lots of other courses as well. Whatever course you're applying for and whatever scholarship you're applying for, you have to let the scholarship panel understand why you are passionate about it, why you really want to, or this can guide you in writing your personal statement or your scholarship essay. The next thing, it says here that the panel will be looking to see if you have outlined any challenges to academic and professional progress, and you detailed how these barriers have been overcome successfully. Now guys, this is important because of course there are challenges that you may have faced academically or professionally. Now they want to see if you are someone that if you face any challenges, you are able to pick yourself back up, you are able to stay motivated, you are able to, overcome those barriers successfully. So talk about your experience when in your application, talk about what challenges you faced, talk about what academic challenges you faced, or what professional challenges you faced. Those are the things that I also did in my application as well. I talked about the academic challenges I faced while I was in medical school. I talked about the professional challenges I also faced while working as a medical doctor, and I talked about how I was able to overcome these challenges. So give details about it, but of course be aware of the word count as well. So don't just write a whole story for them and you surpass the word count. You have to make sure that you are writing or you are making sure that you are within the limit of the word count. So this is another thing that the scholarship panel will be looking for. So one thing I always advise as well is that, and one thing I did when I was applying, is that I put myself in the shoes of the scholarship panel. Imagine I was in their mind. Imagine that you are in their mind. Imagine that you are part of the scholarship panel. What would you be looking for based on these guidelines that they have provided? What am I going to be looking for? Those are the kind of things that you should be thinking about. If I was a part of the scholarship panel and I was reading the application of a prospective student, what would intrigue me about the application, what to make the application stand out for me? Be thinking like them. Do you understand? That's how you'll be able to tailor your application well and make your application stand out. Okay, the next one says that you should also, they'll be looking to see if you have outlined examples of work experience in the field of international development, including community and voluntary work. So remember when I said earlier about preparing in advance and about making sure that you've given yourself enough time to gain the skills and experiences that they will be looking for. Now this is one of that. So it says that you must have given an example. So this is because this is an international development course, or a scholarship that is that is being awarded for students that want to study international development. So that is why their criteria is that they're looking for work experience. So depending on the course you're studying and the entry requirements, you have to make sure that you've tailored your skills and experiences to that. So even if you don't have much of community or voluntary work, even the little that you have will suffice. You just have to show them that even with the little you have to show them what skills, what knowledge, what experiences you've gained, and how that will help you in your course, how that will help you to achieve your goals, and how that experience together with your study will help you to achieve your goals. So these are things that you have to mention as well. Then finally, you have the scholarship panel will be checking to see if you have clearly articulated future ambitions. These goals relate to the postgraduate degree that you have applied for. Very important. So when you are articulating your goals, when you are talking about this is what I want to do, this is my 5 year, and I always advise that when you are talking about your future goals, divide them. So when people send me their scholarship essays, that's what I usually correct. I'll tell them that, make sure that you divide your goals into your 5 year goal and your 10 year goal. So let's say, for example, your 5 year goals, and make sure that your goals are realistic, guys. Don't talk about a goal that maybe you want to transform the whole of Africa in the next 5 years. That is not realistic, okay? So make sure that you are giving realistic goals. And one hint that I would give is that think about organizations that are already doing what you're passionate about in your country, and talk about how you can collaborate with those organizations, okay? Now, this is a very hot tip, guys, and trust me, you won't get this anywhere else. Make sure that you're talking about organizations. So which organizations do you think that you can collaborate with? Okay, in my own application, I looked at organizations that I've either worked with or volunteered with, or organizations that maybe I've not, but my goal is to work and collaborate with them to be able to achieve my goals. Because nobody is going to, realistically, nobody is going to believe that you as a person alone, you are going to be able to, achieve everything you want to achieve. You're going to need collaboration. You're going to be able to, you're going to need to work with people to be able to achieve that goal, because you can't do it all by yourself. So that makes it more realistic for them to see. So in your scholarship essay, in your application, make sure that you look at organizations that are already for example, if you want to apply for this course, for example, international development, what international development organizations are out there in your country that you can probably collaborate with. Talk about how you're going to collaborate with them and what that collaboration is going to bring forth. Do you understand? Talk about your 10-year goal as well. For example, like for me, my 10-year goal was I wanted to become the Minister of Health in Nigeria, and that is also a goal that I still have. And I talked about how I'll be able to achieve that goal and what steps I would need to take. Maybe I will need to do a PhD, maybe I will need to do more research, things like that. Don't just give a goal, but talk about the steps that you take to achieve that goal. That makes it more realistic. Okay, so it says, and how your learning will benefit others from your country or Africa in general. So I've already kind of covered that already. It now says here that consideration will also be given as to whether candidates have experienced discrimination because of personal characteristics such as their gender, race, religion, disability, or sexual orientation. And they have given an email address here if you have any questions. It's always good if you have any questions, you can just email them. I think they usually do respond, so just email them if you have any questions or anything you're not sure about. It's always good to ask questions, okay? And it doesn't mean that by asking they will automatically give you the scholarship, because people might be thinking, oh, maybe if I send an email to them and tell them I'm interested. No, if you don't follow the protocol and if you don't follow the application guide, there's no other way around it. So let's have a look once again at the courses available. So let's say, for example, you're interested in studying an MPH in international development. So I'm going to go back to the university website and I'm going to search for the course. Okay, so you go to study, search for courses, so postgraduate courses. Over here you can see the courses. So now I'm just going to type MPH international development. Okay, so you can see the course here. It's over here. Now, another very important thing that you have to do, you can see that it says here that the applications for 2024 entry are now open. Okay, so what I would advise, first of all, have a look through the course. Now, see what the course is about. See the modules that so the modules are like the different kind of subjects, or subjects that you can study under that course. So have a look at all of that. So let's say, for example, you're interested in studying this course now. It's under the Department of Geography, of course, and it's kind of like, so from my own experience studying this course, it's kind of like a combination of public health and international development. So you have modules from public health and you have modules from international development. So that was what kind of really attracted me to the course as well, because I kind of get the experience or the skills and knowledge from both fields. So I think it's a very good course in my opinion. You can see here that it says that you'll be able to explore the intersections of international development and healthcare policy and practice in the global south, while developing the skills to work in health and development organizations around the world. So this is just a course description. So how you have to read through the course description, see what the course entails, see what you're going to be doing, see what the core modules are. Then also this course, you have the opportunity to go for a field class. So in my own experience, I traveled to Nepal for my field class, and it really gave me that, you know, experience that I needed, that international development experience, that public health experience that I really needed, and how to work on the field and all of that. So that was also another thing that attracted me to the course as well. So that's why you have to look through the course and see what it entails, because of course when you are going to be writing your application, or when you're going to be writing your scholarship essay, these are also things that you can put in there for them to know that you've actually gone through the course. For example, in my application I talked about how I'm really excited about the field class and the opportunities that it's going to provide for me, and the knowledge and the experience I'm going to gain. So that way I've shown that I actually know what the course entails, and I've shown that this is why I'm interested in applying for this course. So if you remember, let's go back again just for reminder's sake. You remember that in the selection process, it says that you have provided a clear rationale for applying for that course. Now, this is also another thing that you can talk about in terms of the rationale that you have provided, that because of this field class, for example, you are really excited about it and the opportunities that it will bring, and that's why you really want to apply for the course as well. But that's why if you don't read through the course and read through what the course entails, you won't be able to provide a very compelling evidence or a very compelling scholarship essay or application personal statement to show why you're really interested in the course if you don't know what the course is about. So it's important to read through. Also talks about the opportunity to be able to have a dissertation with placement, and it gives you that, like it says here, it gives you that valuable practical experience that you need in working in like a development organization. That experience, you can add it to your CV. That experience is something that you can hold on to, and that can help you to achieve your future goals as well. So that's one of the things that also attracted me to this course as well. And it shows the amount of time that so this placement is something you can even also put in your scholarship essay, that you're interested in this placement and you are happy and excited about the opportunity this placement can bring, you know, things like that. So here it talks about the modules. So these are the things, these are the subjects, for example, and each one of them of course has been explained, so you have to read through them. There's the autumn semester and the spring semester, and the modules you'll be doing in the summer as well. So have a look through all of them, so that when it's time for you to select your module, so if you do get an offer and you do get the scholarship, you already have an idea that okay, these are the modules I might want to pick. So these are some of the modules. They have the UK-based field class, different field class, health promotion, communicable disease control. So there are lots of modules there. So there are core modules and there are optional modules. The core modules are the ones that are compulsory for everyone that is offering the course. And this, you already see the core modules here. And these are the optional modules for autumn semester and then spring semester. So you have to have a look at that as well. Then it also shows that there will be open days. I think they also have online open days as well. Now, these open days to give you a chance to see what the university is actually about, to even see what it's going to be like studying at the university. So I kind of would advise that. When I was also applying as well, it wasn't open days, but they had like some online webinars as well, where they had students come and talk about their experiences studying at the university. That opened my eyes to what, you know, what the life of a student is, and that, you know, that just kind of encouraged me as well. So I also advise that if they're having any online open days or any webinars from the university you want to apply to, do well to join. That will give you an understanding of what it's like to study there. So the duration is 1 year full time, and it just shows how you'll be assessed. So most master's courses don't really have exams. Most of them are usually like coursework or project works and dissertation. So it says here that you'll be mostly assessed on your coursework assignments, project work and dissertation. Then this just shows like career opportunities, like what this degree can, the kind of career opportunities that this degree can, you know, provide for you. This is the department in itself, and this is the definition of the department. You can see some student profiles. Now let's go into the main things. The entry requirements for this course. It says here that you must have a minimum of 2-1 in your undergraduate honors degree in either a social sciences, arts and humanities, or medicine and public health subject. Now, they also accept medical students that wish to intercalate their studies, and they offer a wide range of international qualifications as well. Now, let's look at the entry requirements for international students. Now, I think this is a general entry requirement for international students, and it just talks about, for example, English language requirements. Let's go back. So it's also here they already tell you the kind of English language requirement they want, and here they're saying that they want IELTS score of 6.5 with a minimum of 6 in each component or equivalent. So that means that if you have not written your IELTS yet, it's important that you do so, so that you will be able to successfully get an unconditional offer. So that's why I said that preparing in advance is very important, because if you know that you need IELTS, of course, you have to start preparing for your IELTS. There are also other English language requirements that they accept as well. So you have to go through it and read it and see what other English language qualifications that they accept, okay, and the ones that they don't accept. So you have to read that thoroughly. But this is the IELTS score that they needed, okay. One mistake I made the first time I was applying for this course in 2020-2021, I didn't have IELTS then, and of course that was also maybe one of the things that didn't give me the scholarship then, because although I did get an offer, if I remember, I think I got an offer, but it was a conditional offer. So I was, after getting the offer to study, I was then asked to provide an English language qualification, which I didn't have at that time. I tried providing my WAEC and all of that, but they didn't accept that. So they really wanted an IELTS or any other English language qualification. So thankfully, the second time I applied, I'd already done my IELTS. So I already prepared in advance that I needed to have my IELTS before applying again. So that's important to know. This talks about the fees and funding, and of course, if you're applying for a scholarship, this already will be kind of catered for. That's for the scholarship that we just had a look at. So you know you won't have to pay for this anymore, and this is just to give an idea for what this fees and funding is, and basically you can now apply. So you can apply now using our application form. So let's click on apply now. When you click on apply now, it says here you can apply for postgraduate study using our postgraduate online application form. So this is an application form that of course you have to fill. I think there are some steps here. Exactly, that's what I was looking for. Supporting documents, okay. This one gives you an overview of what the form is about. So it says here that part 1 will ask for your personal information, your English language requirements, previous education, employment. Before you can go on to part 2, you have to have completed part 1. And it says here that part 2 is where you will now be able to select the course or the courses that you want to apply for. And you can apply for a total of 3 different postgraduate courses, okay. So that means that even if it's not just that course you want to apply for, you want to apply for other courses as well that you are interested in for the scholarship, you can also apply to them as well. Supporting documents. So there are certain documents that you will need, and let's look at the supporting documents. So supporting document, one of the supporting documents is, first of all, proof of your previous degree. So of course your undergraduate degree, if you apply for a master's course, you need to provide proof of that. So that will be probably your degree certificate, your transcript, and all of that. You have to have those documents ready to apply. That is why preparing in advance is important. So you have to already make sure that you have those documents, your certificates, your transcript. You can see here that they're going to ask for that. Then if you're, for example, I studied in Russia, so my documents were not in English, but I already had translations of for them, so I also submitted my translations as well. Academic references. So this is when you have to take or prepare enough time to get references from your university professors, or even, for example, if it's not academic reference, they want a professional reference as well. you have to have, gotten that reference from the people, maybe your manager at work or things like that. And it says here that depending on the course you've applied for, they normally require 1 or 2 references in support of your application. And these references will be supplied by academic staff at university level institutions. So my references were 2 of my university lecturers that I did projects with in my undergraduate. So I reached out to them, and of course they are busy, so you have to make sure that you leave enough time to get a response back from them. So if you're watching this video, you're thinking of applying for scholarships later on by the end of towards the end of the year or next year, then already start reaching out. And if you really want to apply for this course that ended in May, if you are able to get a reference in time, I don't know, I think there's no deadline to apply for this course yet because the applications are still open. So that's why as much as possible, start requesting for those references from university lecturers and give enough time for them to respond because they'll be busy. Okay. And they also give like a reference content. So if you are not sure what to have in my references, you can have a read through and you can see. Then English language certificates that you need, we already talked about that. A supporting statement. So that is kind of like your personal statement where you talk about why you want to study this course, what experiences do you have, and all of that. This is for, and I think it says here already the word count, so you should have at least 300 words. But I usually advise that for a personal statement, if they don't give a word limit, try to keep it between 500 to 1000 words. Anything above 1000 is just too much. Okay, try not to make your personal statement too long. Be concise, straight to the point, but make sure that you explain and you detail your skills, your experiences, the knowledge you have, your reason for applying for this course. And it's also important, if you're applying for a scholarship, make sure that you also mention that you are willing or you are going to apply for a scholarship because you can't afford to. You don't have to wait for your scholarship essay. That is a pro tip I will give. In your personal statement for the course, also mention that you'll be applying for a scholarship, because there are some scholarships that they look to or they start selecting people that they want to apply for scholarship based on their personal statement. So if you already let them know that you are likely to apply for a scholarship, that way they already have it at the back of their mind that this applicant is interested in applying for a scholarship. So that also helps you when you finally get to apply for the scholarship, if that makes sense. So I always advise to do that as well. Also, they are going to request for a CV. So if you don't have a CV, start gathering your CV together. If you want me to film a video about how to write your CV, let me know in the comment section and I can film a separate video going into details of how to write or create a very good CV for your application. So these are some of the documents that you need for this application or for this course. Okay, so that's why I say that the website has all the information that you need. There's anything outside of this website then they don't need it. Okay, so that's why you have to read the website, read what is there, read the information written there. That will really help you to know how to gather your documents and how to make your application. This just shows you what to expect after you have applied. So that is it about it. So once you click on the postgraduate online application form, this is how the form looks like. So if you want to log in, for example, let's say you're a new applicant, you want to put in your application, it'll be your email. Guys, if you watched this video up to this point, well done, and do make sure that you click the subscription button if you have not subscribed yet, and also like and leave a comment in this video. Okay, so let's put in my password and let's see how we can start the application. Okay, so you can see how the application form looks like here. The application, it says here, like they mentioned earlier, is in 2 parts. The first part is your personal details. The second part is your course application. So you can see here in the first part, your personal details, that's where they will ask you for your name, for example, your contact details, your nationality, residency, English language qualification, your previous university education, relevant employment, some supplementary information. And this way you're going to submit your personal statement. Okay, so this is how the form looks like. So you're going to put in all of this information there in your personal details. And of course, it says here that you can't go into the course application unless you have completed. So of course, I'm not going to start filling in all of this information now because I'm not actually applying, but it's just to show you how the form looks like. So once you're done filling in all of this, then you can go straight. The next part will just be to apply for your course. So they'll just be asking you for the details of your course, for example, and if there are any specific documents that your course needs, or your course the course you're applying for, if there are any specific documents that they want, they will also put it there. But this first part is mainly where you put in all of that information. I think maybe your CV and all of that might be either here or your course application. It all depends on that. The applications are usually very straightforward. You just have to make sure that you read through the details, you read through the course itself, see what it entails, and just follow the instructions. They are very, very straightforward. You don't really need an agent or anyone to really help you. So long you can read, you can write, you are good to go, because most times the application system or the application forms are very, very straightforward and they provide instructions. But if you are not sure of anything, they have contact details that you can always contact, whether either someone from the department or someone from the university will be happy to respond to your questions and all. So this is just to give you an overview of the step-by-step process. So once you're done applying, what can you expect after the application? Once you've provided all of the documents that you need to provide, and you've submitted your application, then you just believe for the best that you'll be sent an email. I think usually it takes maybe between 3 to 4 weeks. I think they normally say it on the website how long you should expect for to receive a response from your application. So I think when I applied, maybe within 3 to 4 weeks, I'm not sure, I can't really remember, but that was when I received the response back from my application. So once you receive an offer to study, then you will now be able to now start your scholarship application process. Once you receive an offer to study, then you are now able to go on with your application for the scholarship. This is just to give an example. Now, different universities may have their own different application forms. They might have their own different entry requirements, but this is just an example. So it's not a one size fits all. So don't think that all of the application forms will look like this, or all of scholarship entry requirements or eligibility requirements will look like this. Nope. It might be different for different universities and even for different courses as well. But this is just to tell you or to show you what you can do, having a read through. And I hope that these helpful tips has been beneficial for you as well. And I hope this has answered the question, because I do get a lot of requests of how you can apply. You can see that it's very straightforward. You just have to be willing to sit down, take your time, take out a time where you know that you are less busy, and sit down and actually start the application process. And yeah, that will be all. So I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please do well to click that subscription button, share to someone. There are so many people that are looking for opportunities like this. Make sure that you share this video to them as well. Don't just gatekeep, don't just keep it to yourself. Share this video to other people that you think may be interested as well, and like this video. And please leave a comment in the comment section and have a look at my other videos as well. I've shared different videos on different scholarships, fully funded scholarships that you can apply to, fully funded postgraduate and undergraduate scholarships, even some specific scholarships like Commonwealth, Erasmus Mundus. They are all on my channel. So have a look through those videos and do well to check them out. So thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.